Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Filming on the phone because we've got internet issues here at home. So Philippe Clement has spoken to the media, and yet again, another press conference passes off with yet again, it's sounding like another episode of Casualty Stroke ER, delete as applicable. Right, so where are we up to? We've got injuries, we've got some weird comments on the Celtic games from him and Cyril Dessers, we've got some John Lundstrom updates. We've got, just general bits and pieces going ahead of the game tomorrow against Dundee. We will be here, obviously, live on the channel tomorrow, bringing you the game. So please, obviously, come and join us for said game. Right, so let's talk a little bit about this presser today. Now, headline news. What is the headline news out of the press conference? The headline news is yet again more injuries, including players being added to the injury list. Now, according to Philippe Clement, we were missing 9 players. That's right, count them 1 to 9. I can't be asked to count to 9. So 9 players in total for the Celtic game. Well, it's now got worse. Yes, the injury curse has hit again. You've got to kind of ask, number one, what the hell is going on with our medical staff? Number two, what is going on with our strength and conditioning staff? And number three, what is going on with our rehab coaches? And what damage did Michael Beale do in pre-season that has led to all these injuries? Who knows? I don't know. But I would love to have actually know what they actually did pre-season to get them into such a mess. Now, who are these 11 players? Well, these are the 11 players that will be missing from tomorrow night's game at Dundee. And we'll talk about what that will mean for the team and the squad shortly from what Philippe Clement said in today's press. But it could be quite exciting. So who's out? Sousa is out. Well, he was injured at half-time. No more conspiracy theories. No more he was hooked. No more it was a strange tactical decision. It was an injury decision. He had to come off. Goldson, obviously done for the season. Balogun, another one, back injury still bothering him. Not good at all. The really bad one, I suppose you could argue there's 15 players missing now, technically, given the fact that Dujon Sterling can play in about 4 or 5 different positions and probably is the best player in best left back, best central defensive midfielder, best right winger, best left winger, best centre back. Probably could have been a striker as well, be just an all-round star. He will be missing, which is a massive, massive loss to be losing one of our best players for that game. Lundstrom, well, that's no great loss. Lawrence also injured. What the hell? Why is he injured again? Cortez, Matondo, Sima, Danilo, and Bailey Rice, who hasn't even played for the first team yet, is injured as well. So they will all be missing tomorrow's game. I suppose the question would be, if we had beaten Celtic on Saturday, if that had happened, how many of those players would actually be missing injured? I think the list would be a lot shorter going into the game against Dundee, if I'm being wholly honest on that one. But it is a really bad situation for Rangers to be missing so many players, and you've got to ask, what the bloody hell are the medical staff doing? I mean, seriously, somebody needs to have a word. Sit down, have a word with them, will you? Now, okay, so let's deal with another thing, shall we? Let's deal with this issue then. So what happens because all these players are out? Now, the game obviously goes ahead. That's a given. But it does mean, as Philippe Clement said in his presser today, that it does mean some players who perhaps have not yet played or have featured only a little will get an opportunity to play or at least be on the bench tomorrow night. So that is exciting news indeed. Now, that could mean that some of the young lads perhaps actually do get a go or get to be on the bench. Likes of Cole McKinnon, for example, the likes of John Lee Yefeko, for example, Leon King, all players who will come into the reckoning for tomorrow night's game. Now, realistically, looking at it, and we'll bring you a bit more of a feature on tomorrow's Matchday News video, but it could be a situation where we line up Butland, Tav, maybe Leon King, Ben Davis and Ridvan, please God, at the back. Dio and Raskin in midfield, which will be a lot more mobile and a lot better. Probably what we should have gone with in the Old Firm game over John, the useless Scouser Lundstrom. Then I think, across the 3 behind the striker, Ross McCausland one side, Fabio Silva the other side, and maybe Todd Cantwell back in the middle in the 10 role. Hopefully, possibly. Why he wasn't brought on Saturday, God only knows. And probably Cyril Dessers up front. Then you may see like McKinnon on the bench. You may see Yefeko on the bench. I think we'll see a good few of the younger players. Maybe even, promotions for some of those under-18s. Paul Nisio, I think, would be a good look at tomorrow. There's nothing to lose. What have we got left to lose? Nothing, Yes, it's important to win these 2 games. Yes, it's important to be successful for the rest of the season and go into the off-season with the right winning habit. But at the same time, give these young lads a chance. Give them a shout. Now, in terms of weird takes on the Celtic game, Philippe Clement spoke about how he believed that it was just small margins and injuries that cost us those games against Celtic this season, given the fact that of the 4 games we've played against them this season, we've lost 3 and drawn 1. I don't think so, Philippe. I think it was a mentality issue. I know you don't see that. And Philippe Clement said that there's nothing wrong with the mentality. I think there is. I think most Rangers fans would agree there is an issue with the mentality and a lot of scar tissue and a lot of, I don't know, wet the bed syndrome against Celtic. Also, I think as well, had Celtic taken all their chances in the game at Ibrox and the game at Parkhead at the weekend, it would have been a very different scoreline. I mean, going into that half time at the Ibrox, if Jack Butland doesn't pull off that save from Matt O'Reilly, it's 3-0. And again, Saturday, they created chances. They just didn't take them. They were pretty poor, showing how bad this Celtic team truly is. So I don't think he's right with the small margins. But again, I suppose you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. He's not going to throw his team under the bus. He's not going to say they're crap, they're useless, they're awful. Now, he did also kind of acknowledge there will need to be a summer rebuild. There will need to be a substantial amount of money spent, and there will need to be a number of players in and out, which was very interesting. He was asked about the backing of the board, and he kind of said that he will have discussions with that, and discussions have already been had as to how much money is needed to rebuild this team. And certainly the hope of, I think, Philippe Clement, Niels Coppard, and the fan base is the board will put their money where their mouth is and actually back their manager for a change. As Steven Gerrard said once, you need to build you need to repair the roof when the sun is shining. Certainly something we didn't do. As for the other sort of thing with Lundstrom, I think there was a kind of a hint that Lundstrom could be back in consideration for the cup final team if his suspension isn't applied to that cup final, which I think would be a damn disgrace. I don't think Lundstrom deserves to play for Rangers again. I thought his mentality on Saturday stank. And I think if he is put back into the cup final, it will lead to just only one thing, and that's Rangers losing the game. So overall, a strange one for Philippe Clement today. Not the best presser, but I suppose after any result against Celtic that isn't positive, it's always going to be a tough one. The headline, of course, is those 11 players out injured. Guys, let me know what you think. We'll look at it in a bit more depth tomorrow in the Matchday News video. But trying to get this out, get us into the discussion for Rangers fans. A few odd people asking what my connection to Rangers is. Well, I've been a Rangers fan since 86, 87, since Souness and Woods. Was a massive fan of Chris Woods growing up. He came to Rangers, why I started supporting Rangers. Okay, that's why. Okay, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below of the injuries, of Philippe Clement's comments about the Celtic games. And obviously as well, please sub to the channel. Help us to keep on growing. We're going to try and get to 6K by the end of the season. It's going to be tough. Let's hope we can get there. And on the way out, two things I always ask of you. Number one, smash the like, please. It defeats that evil algorithm that lurks in caves. And number two, we are the people.